Well, it seems that AI is touching almost every aspect of our lives, including our smiles. To tell us more about that connection, we welcome Dr. Leif Loberg to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm excited to hear about all of this new AI technology that is making people's smiles just radiantly beautiful. What can you tell us about the artificial intelligence and how it relates to our smiles?
Sure. So that's a great question, and how it's really come into dentistry. We have seen an explosion in the processes for taking simple restorations, crowns, root canals, extractions, and full arches of teeth, to be able to take digital scans and run them through an automated artificial intelligence program to simulate and ultimately build or construct a prototypical prosthesis for a patient. If we look at a single crown now, we literally can scan a preparation, essentially put it through a computer process. It's all AI driven. So the margins of the crown are literally marked in an automated fashion. The crown is designed in an automated fashion. The bite is aligned perfectly.
Wow. And
then the doctor, in this case, checks each of the steps to ensure that it's indeed true and verified. Mm-hmm. And then at the end result, within 30 to 45 minutes, a brand new restoration comes off of a mill that is all in the background driven by artificial intelligence.
That's fascinating. So that typically would have taken how many days or weeks in the past?
In the old system, you would be typically looking at a preparation, an impression, and then usually a few weeks in a laboratory. And this can literally be done inside of an hour or two in the office.
That's amazing.
It really is.
So it really cuts down weeks.
It does. It cuts down
the process.
An enormous amount of chair time, and it also is really efficient and beneficial for a patient because they're not having to deal with temporaries and things falling out over dinner or a date.
And so there's no need for a temporary anymore, correct?
Correct. For most of the cases can be done immediately without temporization.
That's fascinating. So what other new innovations have been developed for patients in the field of AI to streamline an entire mouthful?
So that's a fantastic question. The brilliant development, in my opinion, that has really come in to change the face of dentistry is how full arch reconstructions or transformations are done. The process of having a patient come in, having a scan or an extraoral scan, we are actually able to generate a model of a patient that we can rotate in three-dimensional space that is the patient, that mimics everything about them. These are a series of cameras that capture the imaging, and then through AI, it is stitched together to create a three-dimensional model.
And so those are intraoral cameras?
A combination of intraoral and extraoral cameras.
Okay.
So you can actually
really get the jaw structure and the bone structure.
Everything, from lip position to the midline to the joint position to pupil lines and things like this. So everything is, in dentistry is relative to other structures in the face, the nose, the midline, the lip position, whether there's enough support or not. So take this system now and overlay that with radiography. So cases like what you can see on the screen there, we can generate a before
that is fascinating
three-dimensional overlay into this system and plan it. And through AI and through digital planning, we can then predict how the actual teeth are going to align to what we connect into the bone after removal of the teeth and the clean-out process, and then ultimately to deliver a perfect smile, perfect bite.
So I would step out on a limb to say you're probably creating an even better smile than what they had in youthful years, right?
Most of the time.
You're lining it up a little bit better.
Most of the time.
I know I wasn't born with straight teeth.
Yeah, no. So it's an absolutely amazing time in dentistry.
It is fascinating. I mean, look at these before and afters, and you can look in his soul, in his eyes, and you can really tell that his self-esteem has just risen tremendously. I mean, he looks so happy.
Right, absolutely. And you talk about cases where patients are down on their luck. They can't eat or chew. They feel
it's got to be painful.
Pain is huge. Absolutely. You just avoid eating the foods that you enjoy and love.
Sure.
And romance, pretty soon it deteriorates relationships.
Because it really does affect the self-esteem, right? I mean, the smile is the first thing that we show people.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So if you're not comfortable with it, you're going to kind of retract a little bit, right? Rather than put your best self forward.
Right. And that really is the ultimate benefit of treating a lot of these cases in a manner that is guided through artificial intelligence. Now, there is a human aspect that overlays the top that we can preview and adjust anything that's needed, so that's the beauty of it.
Right.
But the speed of which you can develop these plans can literally be done, inside of an hour to develop a full-blown, perfect smile, a plan, and I'll call it a roadmap or a system of going from A to B and allowing the patient to preview it. So it's pretty amazing.
It's got to be so
game changer.
fulfilling for you. That must feel really good. As a teenager, I remember the goop. Is there any need for goop anymore?
That's another great question. So the goop, as we know it, is all that material and impression, junk that goes in your mouth that typically causes you to gag and all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of folks feel like they're drowning because you've got to hold still for 3 or 4 minutes until it's all set.
Oh yeah.
So that's really been replaced now by technology that is, again, scanning technology where intraoral cameras, which are really, really small, think iPhone and how we carry that everywhere to take photos and videos.
Sure.
So we have a very similar device that goes in the mouth that we can capture the teeth. And that's a process that takes a minute or two without the intrusive gobbledygook that feels like you want to gag. Gagging patients specifically absolutely love it because there's nothing that touches the palate.
Oh, wonderful.
So
okay.
it's pretty neat.
So tell us about 3D printing in the world of dentistry.
So 3D printing has absolutely taken off like a rocket. For the first time ever, we've in dentistry been able to now take a patient, scan or produce a full arch or even so much as a single crown, and deliver it to a patient, FDA approved, for that patient to be able to bite, chew, eat, and function. And that's through 3D printing. The materials these days are made out of ceramics, infused with resin, and it's a light curing process. And again, on the backbone, what runs that? AI. It is amazing to watch these prosthetics being produced and generated, whereas before it was a lot of manual labor and hand carving.
Wow, this all sounds fascinating. So folks can come in and leave on the same day with a beautiful, radiant smile, right?
They can.
with Loberg Dental Center, Dr. Leif Loberg. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you being here today.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
You're watching This Day. We'll be right back after these messages.